Yeah, this is my this month. I'm actually sort of celebrating 5 years
Oh,
without
wow.
having a drink. But I read your book, which was a real integral part of my recovery. Actually, I did, I guess, what a lot of people do, and I hit a point where I was desperate and dying, and went into a 12-step kind of program.
Uh-huh.
Um,
Were you an inpatient rehab, or it was just a
no,
outpatient?
it was just an outpatient. I could have right done with a medical detox, really, but I was, don't do it my way. Go get a medical detox.
Really?
Oh my God, I shouldn't really be here, really. I shook, and I shook for 2 full weeks, physically shook for 2 full weeks, maybe even slightly longer, and I sweated. I was hallucinating. I could see rats crawling on things.
Wow.
Um, and yeah, I shook on the inside, I shook on the outside, I sweated, I vomited, it was coming out of every orifice. I was really, really poorly for 2 full weeks.
Yeah.
And then for another 2 months, I would say, I shook on the inside. I felt like my
Yeah.
innards were shaking. The fear and the anxiety that I felt.
Yeah,
Because
it does
somebody,
sound like you should
I
have
just
got some
ripped off
professional
my
help.
ripped off my comfort blanket. You know, I'd had this substance that had held me up for such a long time. I describe it as my bad boyfriend. It's like, you know, no, everybody thought it was a bad idea but me. And I loved it and defended it.
Yeah.
And
Well,
it,
I
yeah,
sometimes I describe it as Stockholm syndrome. You fall in love with a killer.
yeah.
You know, you're in this relationship with something that's doing you immense harm, and you think it's your best friend. It's weird.
Absolutely. But it does kind of feel like your best friend, because when I used to drink alone a lot, because I felt lonely.
Yeah.
And you know, alcohol wants you isolated and dead if it's the bad boyfriend. But it used to give me a sense of, it's used to free me from the pain of isolation. It was
Hmm.
like a really good pain reliever for the isolation. I've got a really active mind, very similar to you, busy head, lots of thinking. And so it kind of like calmed my head down a bit. But also
Yeah.
when I was bored, like it was like my boredom was like a mild frustration that was
Uh-huh.
always there. Like I was constantly just a bit irritated because I wasn't stimulated enough. And the alcohol kind of took the edge off that. So I could actually get work done.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you know, it helped me to be in a better mindset so I could actually get my work done. I can't believe that I even saying that out loud, but that's how it was. The craziness of it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I did it the wrong way, really. I just stopped completely and went through 3 months really of complete hell.
Yeah. I mean,
Um,
yeah, just to, you really
I
should
don't
have got
recommend
medical
anyone
help.
does it, Milo.
No,
Yeah, I
no.
really needed a medical detox. But I didn't get the right advice, and I didn't really know who to turn to.
Yeah.
And, you know, the advice I got was just stop. And I
Right.
was like, okay. And I was so desperate because I'd got to a point where I was going to die. Um, and I wanted to live. There was only a very small voice inside my head that wanted to live, because, you know, the majority of the time I would have been quite happy just to have died. I had no self-respect, and I had nothing to live for particularly. But there
Yeah.
was this kind of little small voice in my head that said, you know, I want to live. And so I went to get help, and yeah, the advice wasn't great for somebody who was drinking as much as me. So don't do it my way. Go get some I could have really done with a medical detox on
Yeah.
reflection, but I'm here.
Okay. Well, we're
And
very grateful that you're here. A lot of people are feeling the love for you. Standing Bear says, Amanda, you're an inspiration. So strong.
oh,
And
thank
if
you.
you're watching now and you have any questions for Amanda, who's someone who's 5 years away from this, then post them up and I'll put them to her. If you don't mind answering a couple of questions, Amanda.
I'd be happy to. Yeah, absolutely.
So you say, I mean, it's amazing you went
Mm.
from that terrible place and now you're 5 years clear. So when you feel lonely and down these days, how do you stop yourself going back?
I pick up the telephone and I
Uh-huh.
phone people. I used to find that the hardest thing to do because I didn't want to bother people. I didn't want to, like, you know, most of my friends have, got normal lives and they've got, jobs and
Yeah.
kids. And I didn't feel like I had enough. There wasn't enough. I didn't value myself enough
Uh-huh.
to ask them to give me some of their time. So it was really hard to pick up the phone and call. So what I did was and I still do. I've got a list. I have a hit list of people who I know that I can call. And I
Yeah.
actually just said to them, sometimes I get a bit lonely. And when I get a bit lonely, I get a bit crazy. Could I have you on a list to call? Or could I have you on a list to text? And if you are free, could you call me back? And I just had a list of people who I knew were kind of good mates, who I could call. It took a lot of courage, to be honest, to even get that list together. But I know that isolation and loneliness is something that's real dangerous for me.
Mm.
So I need that I need that call list.
Yeah.
And I do enjoy time by myself, probably a bit too much, but I make sure that when I'm having time by myself, that I'm doing productive, helpful, healthy activities that are not veering me into an unhealthy kind of place. I'm very mindful of my thought processes. And
Yeah.
if I start having, I'm alone, nobody cares, nobody loves me, the world is just out to get me, I'm gonna, people are gonna use me up, and when there's nothing left, I'll die. When my thoughts kind of veer into that kind of negative, like negative mantras almost, I go, hang on a minute, what's going on here? And I pick up the telephone and I just go, 5 minutes just to talk and about anything to me,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
weather.
I think we do worry that we're stealing people's time, don't we? I mean,
Yeah.
I went to therapy yesterday, and the first thing I said to the therapist was, "I'm really sorry to complain to you. You must be so sick of people complaining to you." And she just looked at me like I was crazy and said, "It's my job, and I actually love my job." And I went, "Oh yeah,
Welcome to therapy. You are in the right place.
yeah." That's good that you've got that system in place, and people can help you.
I'm incredibly blessed. I think the other thing is that I use gratitude a lot.
Hmm.
A little old man once said to me, "If you've got shoes on, you've got something to be grateful for." I was never very grateful for anything really when I was drinking. It kind of put me in a place where I think to begin with I was almost in like a fight or flight zone. So
Yeah.
that kind of I need to survive, I need to survive, I need to survive kind of mentality, alcohol is helping me to survive, put me in a very selfish, kind of self-centered place,
Yeah.
because that's where you go when you're in survival mode. And you can't really think about anything else but yourself when you're in that place, and it's not usually helpful thoughts. So he just said, look at your feet. If you've got shoes on, you've got something to be grateful. Just look around the house, find something that you can see that you're grateful for. Maybe it's a little card that some kid made for you, or
Yeah.
it's an ornament that somebody bought for you years ago. And think about physical things that you've got around you. I think when I was drinking, I didn't really have very much around me because I'd lost most of it by the end of my crazy drinking binging period. I owned one suitcase worth of belongings and had nothing else, but I still had shoes. So that was where it started with. I thank you. At least I've got a pair of shoes. Got some shoes.
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
wearing I'm
yeah.
wearing clothes, and just like looking for the small things, because I was a real high seeker. So I wanted like the best job, the
Mm.
the the I wanted the promotion. I pushed myself really hard. I want the rewards. Like a mediocre life isn't enough for me. I need the highs. I want the excitement. I want the buzz. I want the adrenaline. I want the party. I want the booze was very much a part of that. So starting to really find pleasure in really little simple things and being grateful for things was really helpful.
Yeah, that's good advice. So a lot of people have got a lot of admiration for you, Amanda. Deborah says, wow, amazing lady. So thank you for coming on. I really appreciate it. If we've got people watching now who are still in that kind of loop and are waking up this morning with all that guilt and regret because yesterday you promised you wouldn't drink, you promised yourself you wouldn't drink, and then yet again you wake up and they're still at that point where they haven't made the leap because they're scared of their whole life is built on alcohol, everything, and to go from that to zero, I know it's terrifying. Have you got any advice, just a couple of pointers for those people who've yet to make that step?
Oh my goodness, it's just listening to you reminds me of when I used to wake up in the morning and I used to be like, there was like death, like a doomy, gloomy grey figure was sitting at the end of my bed waiting to get me. The guilt, the pain, the really low mood. I think the hardest thing is to get help. Pick up the phone and get help. There are so many of us. There are lots of us out there. There's lots of us that really like drinking, and there's a lot of us that have, drink has pretty much taken us to nearly death or complete destruction. And there is a solution. There is help out there. Everybody gets help. There's lots of different ways that you can get help. For me, getting help was like, I put on a Velcro suit. I did a bit of meditation. I tried a bit of yoga. I went to a 12-step program. I read your book. I did some of your coaching stuff that you have, like your free stuff that you have available. I got you on audio books because I couldn't actually read to begin with because my head was so messed up I couldn't even read a book.
Right.
But yeah, just pick up the telephone, ask for help, speak to somebody who's been through it, who understands. And
do you still go to meetings, Amanda?
I do occasionally dip in and out. Yeah, I do occasionally dip in and out. I find that sometimes I feel like I just want to connect with people who I call them my tribe, people who've been through the same stuff I've been through, and it's a good place to go and reflect, and it is a great place to get support if you need it. I just sometimes find that the mantra-y part of it can be a little bit sort of, I don't need to be reminded that I am sick because I don't believe I am anymore. I do feel healthy and well and happy. And, my name's Amanda Joy, and I do feel quite joyful nowadays. My mother did a good job picking that name. But so there are elements that don't quite fit with me. But my recovery journey has been like a Velcro suit. I'll give anything a go. I think you've just got to give something a go. Get started. Make the decision that you don't have to live like that, and take the first step. Pick up telephone, get some help. Get on one of your programs, or go have some hypnotherapy. Hypnotherapy really helped me. So get some therapy. We all need someone to hold our hand, and I think for recovery, it's the hardest thing that I've ever done was to get sober, but it was the best thing I have ever done as well. I actually have a nice life now, so yeah.
Fantastic. And you absolutely deserve it.
Get help. Pick up the telephone, ask for help. That's my only advice, really. Yeah.
Well, Amanda, thank you for coming on, because I'm so grateful to you, because I didn't even know if this would work. And like, I never put a lot of planning into much I do. It was literally 20 minutes ago. I thought, I wonder if I could do that. And I clicked the go live button on my screen. And then as it was going live, I was thinking, this might not even work. So
you could end up with a completely crazy person from the UK.
It's been an absolute joy.
Just out of bed. I haven't even brushed her hair yet.
Well, that's why I keep my hair short, so I don't have to brush it. Thank you, Amanda.
Thank you. Thank you for the work you do. Honestly, you were a huge part of my recovery journey. So it's just lovely to be able to actually say thank you to you in person. So
I
thank you.
appreciate that. Thank you
Thank you
very
very
much.
much.
Have a good day.
You too.
Thank you. All right. Wow. I'm so chuffed. I'm so pleased. That was superb. Yeah, this is kind of the first YouTube thing I've done where I didn't have a plan, and I know it came across like that, and I apologize. But like I said, my motivation for doing this today was to acknowledge that I'd not done a video in a long time, and to tell you that the reason I hadn't done it is just because, honestly, my mental health has kind of suffered quite badly because of this lockdown. It's so extreme here in Cyprus. You're not allowed to leave the house without permission from the government. And it just seems like it's been going on forever. And, you know, you go back 2 years, I was in a different country every month, you know, doing the boot camps. I was in Canada, I was in Australia, I was in Dublin, I was in the UK, I was Thailand. It was like a crazy life, and I was loving it. And then lockdown happened, and I found myself staring at four walls. And it has depressed me quite a lot. So I wanted firstly to apologize for not making a video and explain to you why I did it. But I also wanted to do a less scripted sort of video, because I'm kind of thinking, and it does seem that you agree with me, that if we can just get together on a kind of regular basis just to check in with each other and support each other, it might be quite a valuable tool. So let me do a bit more research on that and see if we can bring that in as something we do on a regular basis, because not everyone wants to go to a meeting. For some people, AA just doesn't work for them. Some people, they don't want the embarrassment of having to explain to their partner or their friends or their family where they're going every evening or whatever. So let's see if we can try and do something like that. So thank you very much for all your questions and comments. If you're new to the channel, if you've just discovered it, please hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you get my updates, and click the like button as well so I know that you like this sort of video. Thank you for watching, and hopefully I will see you very, very soon. Have a good day. And it's the only drug on planet Earth that when you get a problem with it, they blame you and not the drug. That doesn't happen with any other substance. If you think about it, cigarettes. You tell someone you're addicted to cigarettes, they don't go, oh, you dirty smokeaholic. You're a broken, weak-willed smokeaholic. You're going to be a smokeaholic for the rest of your life. They don't do that. They don't give you that label and say, well, that's it. You're broken forever now.
I really consider this because it's different. It's different to anything you can find out there, and it gives you real mental freedom from the clutches of alcohol.
I had an email about 6 months ago from a lady. She said, I was thinking about joining your course, but then I've just seen that red wine is good for your heart. How do you defend against that, Mr. Stop Drinking Expert?
It was in the reader's side.
Yeah, it must be true. I said, well, the defense against it is it's not true. And that's the biggest defense you can always